Hello, everyone. Welcome to Live from the Kingdom. My name is Paul Inman, and here on Live from the Kingdom, we get some behind-the-scenes stories, sneak peeks, insights into our anthology, Keys to the Kingdom. We talk about the world of dollar babies and much, much more. I hope you're having a fantastic week. Thank you for being here. And without further ado, the man, the myth, and the legend, like Bigfoot legend, Billy Hanson. How's it going, my friend? Welcome.
It's going pretty good. And, we've got the two of us have another topic of conversation this week.
Oh,
viruses, because we both
true.
caught one this week on opposite sides of the country. So
That's
if
right.
I seem a little bit less energetic today, it's not because I'm in a bad mood. It's because I have a slight sore throat and I'm a little sick. But other than that, I'm feeling very great.
Well, you know what's funny is I was going to try to hide it, but you called me.
Oh, sorry.
We should talk before these shows sometimes. You know what I mean?
But yeah, I am. It's been a good week. I'm feeling good about tonight. I think it's going to be a fun little episode today.
Yeah, man. Before we get into it, I want to actually just take a second and say to Chris Etheridge that I don't know if you saw this out there, Billy, but
I did.
Father passed, and Chris wrote an amazing story. Missed the mark. He was on a few weeks ago. His father passed, and we just want to send our love to Chris and his loved ones in this difficult time. But let's bring the happy back. Sorry to be a downer, but Chris, no, seriously, man. We hope that everything's great, as good as it can be, and reach out to us, and we'll do what we can. But we have some good stuff going on this week. Billy, did you were telling me before we started that it was a fun 3-day weekend for you. Your kids have been having a blast.
Oh yeah, it was Memorial Day weekend, so everyone was home for a longer period of time, and man, just ramping up the energy. It was a steady uphill climb for all 3 days. It was more and more and more energy at home, so it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. My daughter, who is no longer a child, she's 22, right? And she is still super energetic. Karen, thank you for being here.
Oh,
and appreciate
thank you for the
healing
energy.
Yes.
Yes.
Thanks for that. So Billy, let's talk about Keys to the Kingdom just briefly. Okay, let me bring this up.
Let's do it.
Keys to the Kingdom, if you don't know, inkshares.com/ I have it on a banner somewhere that we'll put it at the bottom. There we go. You can pre-order inkshares.com/books/keys-2-the-kingdom. I almost
You
didn't
almost
make
forgot that last
it.
dash.
I almost didn't make it. And I was even reading it right on the screen. I have no idea. So yeah, so if you want to pre-order, we are still in the pre-order phase, of course. And let me zoom this in. Actually, we are getting close to the end here.
Within 2
ladies
weeks.
and gentlemen, boys and girls, 12 days left. And I know that the 750 seems like a far off place, but 12 days, anything can happen, right? And
True.
as I mentioned last week, InkShares, sometimes they can pick up books at their discretion, whether you hit the pre-order threshold or you do not. So don't fret. But if you know some people who want some books, we've got them for them. So
now is the time. Yeah, now is the time for that final push. We're gonna get into that like final last ditch effort here to get as close to that number as we possibly can.
Exactly. And Billy, guess what? I want to show everybody something at home. If you come to the InkShares page here, you can go to the read section, and guess what, Billy?
There might be another little treat there for you.
There might be. If you look right here, there's a new sample up by someone named Billy Hanson, who I learned through this live stream. It's not William. It's actually Billy.
That's true. Actually, Billy. Legally Billy.
Yeah. So if you want to read that, of course, please go read his sample. You can read. I'm trying to click the sample, not zoom in. I don't know what's happening. There we go. So if you look here, 3,144 delicious words from Life Sentence. That is not the whole story, by the way. This is only a piece, just a sample. So yeah, if you want to read it, please go in and check it out. It's a great story. It's fantastic. I can't wait for you guys to read the whole thing. But in the meantime, you can read some of it, right?
Yeah.
So
it's a great way. It's a great way into the book, into the story, into the bigger picture of what we're doing.
Exactly. And you can also go through, I just took it off the screen, but you can go through and you can look at all the log lines from the previous shows. If you haven't seen those, they're all there as well. You can learn about, and I'm just going to bring it up because I want to show it. You can learn about all of the, let me go back here. Whoa, too close. I mean, let's go back into the read section. You can learn about all of the different authors, including the author that we have in the wings right now on tonight's live stream. You can do all the log lines. You can read a sample of Red Eye. Again, not the whole story, but it gives you a nice taste. All right, that's enough of that. Buy some books. Tell your friends.
It's very cool. We're doing lots of stuff.
It is. We are doing lots of stuff. So without any further ado, I guess
let's add one more log line and author to the whole shebang. So our guest tonight is another person I had not met, another name that I had come across before but never had the pleasure. But then once we started doing this book, we realized we had some mutual friends, and not mutual friends from the Stephen King world, just mutual friends from the real world, which is really funny. And I feel like the longer you live and work in LA, it just happens more and more. But anyway, I'm very excited to bring on Jackie Perez.
Yes, welcome, Jackie. You are muted. I'm getting in front of this now.
There you go. There you go. Yeah.
You can hear me? Amazing.
Yeah. Welcome. Thanks for coming and being on the show.
I'm excited. This is going to be fun. This is like the bright spot of my day.
Awesome.
That's awesome. So we got that's actually my daughter who I was just talking about. She says hello. And let's get some more. Bolin, what's up? Let's push, baby. Yeah, I like it. He also says, hi, Jackie. Can't wait to read your story. And we've got Angry Mule Films, who is Steven. What's up, man? How's it going? So Jackie, thanks for being here. When I first came across Beach World, which is your Dollar Baby adaptation, that's the first time I saw it, I believe, was in the first Stephen King Rules Film Festival when it was, being broadcast worldwide. I think that was the first time I saw it, and it was awesome. Tell us just a little bit. Give us a little bit of backstory about that.
Oh my gosh, Beach World. So to start, I have been a fan of Stephen King since literally the womb, because my mom read 3 of his books when she was pregnant with me. So I think that's where my love for horror came about. She read Carrie, It, and The Stand. So like
Taking it
3
all the way back.
She got
All the way back to the beginning.
Yeah, it's hard to get more formative than that.
Exactly.
Right. I thought it was only 1, and then she told me like, no, it was 3. I'm like, well, that explains everything.
There you go.
So I had no idea that the Dollar Baby program, I think I had like heard of it, but really didn't have a lot of insight into it. And I had been living in LA at the time, was at a random friend's barbecue, and someone at the barbecue was talking about the Dollar Baby because they wanted to do a Dollar Baby short. And that was when I really caught the bug, because I had been in LA for a while. I had wanted to make another film. I was going to be leaving eventually. I knew that I was going to move from LA. So I'm like, this is perfect to like call in all my favors, make a movie with a bunch of friends. And so I got the list, right? There was like 20 or 25 shorts on the list. And I read every single one of them that was available to figure out what I wanted to make. Any of them, right? I would have been excited to do.
Of course.
But
they're all great.
I chose Beach World because living in Los Angeles, we were about a 3-hour, maybe 2.5, 2 to 3 hour drive from the Glamis sand dunes, which are the biggest dunes in the state of California.
Yeah.
And I felt that Beach World, because I also looked up kind of like the other Dollar Babies that had been adapted from these stories and what already existed. And I think Beach World, it's set on a planet of sand dunes. It is just a planet filled with sand. And I don't think it's adapted as frequently because of the location. And so I wanted to take advantage of my proximity to the sand dunes, thought it'd be a gorgeous setting.
It is. It really is too.
Yeah. And I love the psychological aspect of the story. Like a lot of Stephen King stories are horror or psychological thriller. And this one had a really like sci-fi lean to it. And I also am a big sci-fi horror fan. And so as I read them all, I figured, okay, this is going to be a nice challenge for me logistically, because I've never filmed anything like on location where I have to drive my crew out, put people up, like the harsh environment. There was a lot of unknowns going into it because we were filming on these dunes. Like there's dune buggies that tracked them all up. The weather was a wild card, but I'm like, well, let's just go for it, right? Let's just see what happens. And the film gods opened up, and we chose a location that wasn't all tracked up by dune buggies. The weather the day before, like the winds would have been too high to film with a drone, and the weather the day after we filmed, it like spiked 10 degrees. It would have been hot. Like no one fell out. No one was like dehydrated or anything like that. So it was just like the perfect day that we chose to film. And it was just extremely fun and satisfying as a storyteller and filmmaker to be able to add my own little touch to the Stephen King universe with this adaptation and put my personal spin on the story. And I know that Stephen King, like, sometimes is not super, like, doesn't love, I think, sometimes people putting their
yeah.
well, on the story, like, if it doesn't align with like what he saw, but it was fun taking his source material and doing something a little bit different. So I didn't do it like I couldn't do it word for word because of budget constraints. There's like a giant hand in the original story that comes out of the same.
Right.
I mean, like getting quotes for things. I mean, there's no way I can do this. So how can I take the box of the budget I could play with and then whittle it down? Like originally the script had, like interior spaceship. And I'm like, once I got that quote, like there's no way I can build that set. So the spaceship already crashed and just a bunch of debris that I literally picked up from a junkyard in Imperial Valley, California. And then I brought all the junk back to them at the end of the day.
That's awesome. That's one of the things I love about the Dollar Babies is like nobody, I think we were going to say the exact same thing. Like nobody really has any money. So we've got to figure out how to do a spaceship crash with nothing, with what we can, like what we can grab basically.
Like 50-foot dunes. It was fun. It's wild looking. So this was filmed in about 20, 2018, like April 2018. I literally moved to the Middle East the month after. So it was like a ticking clock. I got to make this Dollar Baby, otherwise it's never going to get made. And looking back on it, like when I made it, I had been working as an assistant in Hollywood, more on the development side of things. I didn't have a ton of production experience except for my own really tiny short films. This was the biggest film I had ever done. And now I work full-time as a production coordinator, producer with a creative agency where the budgets are like 5 times the size of Beach World or more.
Yeah.
And so looking back at like what I was able to accomplish as a very naive filmmaker, like winging a lot of things, I'm like really proud of what came out of that. And I'm excited for the next thing with all the knowledge that I've gained in the past couple of years.
Yeah,
of course.
You should be very excited. Or very proud.
Says, love all this background. There's a new feature, guys. I'm gonna try it maybe near the end, but sorry, I'm talking to the people here. There's a new feature. I'm not talking to you guys. I'm talking to the people. I wanted to try it earlier. I just forgot, and then I remembered after. Never mind. It doesn't matter. So Beach World is great. It's really great, and you got it. You and a few other people that are in this anthology got special permission to like get it out there, right? So can people still watch it?
People can. So this was the crazy thing, right? I went into the story because everyone signs a Dollar Baby contract, film festival only. These are calling card films. And that was what it was. I was just always just so excited to, again, like I said, put my own little stamp on the Stephen King universe. The dream, right? The dream one day is to adapt a feature. I'm a screenwriter first and foremost, or a writer first and foremost, but like I'd love to add something in the feature sphere of the Stephen King universe. But until that happens, like the Dollar Baby program was an amazing way to be a part of it. And the funny thing is we filmed Beach World. It took a while to go through post-production. I'm living overseas. I'm like editing between 3 continents. And then we do our film festival run, and it's during the pandemic. So a lot of things are virtual. I'm living in Bahrain in the Middle East and planning my trips back to the States around like different film festivals or writing conferences. And I'm not able to be present at a lot of the screenings, but my cast and crew are going to them, which is great.
Cool. Yeah, that's
and
cool.
It got to a point where like halfway through what I had wanted to do for a festival run, I'm like, this is the pandemic. Like, I'm going to cut it short. And Nightmares Film Festival was the final screening outside of, I think, the second Dollar Baby Stephen King Rules Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And that festival had a specific Dollar Baby shorts block to it. And Gunpowder in Sky's Dust, which is like their sci-fi leaning channel, and they have a horror channel called Alter, and they were really interested in licensing it for their different OTT, YouTube, and Facebook streamer sites. And I'm like, this is amazing, because I could get like so many people watch these channels, and Stephen King and his all his lawyers, like they had to watch it, and he had to give his special permission in order for it to go on a platform that big. There's like 3 million subscribers. Yeah. And they made the special accommodation where they took all the ads off of it so that it wasn't going to make ad revenue on the story.
Right.
And so that was a complete like surprise. It's still up. People around the world are still watching it. And it just was just like a great feeling to be able to share it with so many folks that I never expected to.
That is awesome. And
cool.
Julia is very excited to read your story. And Julia also has her film, I Know What You Need, is also out there streaming where people could catch it. And I'm sorry, Julia, I don't remember where it is, but it is somewhere. And I know Julia will help.
Yeah, so everyone can watch it. And I'm so excited to read your story as well. Yeah,
speaking of screenwriter and writer, we've got an exclusive new story, another fantastic addition to Keys to the Kingdom. It is Jackie's story. And Jackie, please do the honors for everyone at home.
Yes. So my story is called Nap, and it's about a sleep-deprived young lady who is chasing viral social media fame. And her waking nightmares bleed into her reality when an ancient entity latches onto her fragile mind, refusing to let her go.
That is awesome. That is so
There's
awesome.
so much in that log line that makes me so happy.
Exactly. Let me bring us all back up here. Here we go.
Yeah.
That log line is amazing. And let me tell you, this is right up my alley. I love that kind of stuff. I love it. The idea that, and we're not going to get too spoilery here, but the idea that someone is having some sleep issues is always interesting to me. I always wonder about that. Not wonder. I always am drawn to that, and one thing that I think that's really neat. Can I give one little small spoiler?
Yes.
One thing that I think, and it's not really that much of a spoiler, you can sort of infer from the log line. One thing I think that's really cool is the idea that this person is trying to do this sleep deprivation sort of experiment, I guess, to go viral. I think that's really kind of cool. And that's where I'm going to leave it because I don't want to do that. But I do want to talk about your inspirations for this story.
Sure.
So let the people read the story. But what's your inspiration? Where did this kind of first develop?
A couple of things, right? I like to explore topics or ideas, and I twice in my life have stayed up for like 3 days, 72 hours. I remember one time it was in college during finals and all the things, deadlines and due dates and projects that were due. And then the second time was when I was in the Navy during some like really heated stuff going on. And I've never stayed up for more than 3 days at a time, but I think the record is like 11 days. And even after 24 hours, you have that physical reaction of being literally like legally drunk. So the idea of someone doing this willingly in an age where social media, like you have to go to more and more extremes,
right,
to make a dent in everything that's out there. I was kind of marrying those two social media elements and the sleep deprivation elements, but the core of the idea, like right now, I'm really interested in kind of self-experimentation that leads to self-destruction. And I love the short story called The Great God Pan by Arthur Mencken. And it's like the very first kind of cosmic horror short story.
Right.
And it was told as like just the very first chapter came out first, and then it had like follow-on chapters in a serial edition. And so it has a similar kind of like experimentation element to it, where this woman's mind is quote unquote like broken pretty much, like to the point where she sees into this other dimensional realm, which makes her go insane.
Right. And this is the kind of stuff I love. Right up my alley.
Have you all seen The Taking of Deborah Logan? It's
I know of it, but I haven't seen it.
Really, I'm not going to give anything away. I highly recommend the movie. It came out like, I don't know, 10 years ago. It's not recent, but
somebody put that in the chat so I can remember it later.
Yes. The Taking.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't have to do it. You're talking to
Deborah Logan. It's like a possession movie, but this woman, Deborah Logan, is possessed because she has like Alzheimer's and dementia. So her mind is already in a fragile state. So I'm taking that idea of like your mind being in a fragile state due to sleep deprivation, and then something from the other side, like latching onto that vulnerability and using that as a portal, using you to come through the other side.
Cool.
There's also something very, very cool about pairing this very modern idea of like social media with ancient demons and ancient entities. Like there's something very cool about marrying those two ideas and having them like smashed together in one person.
Right. And
So
just
that's
people
very exciting too.
really knows like this isn't the smartest thing to do, but it's kind of like necessary nowadays to go to those extremes and at what cost, really.
Yeah.
Exactly. And looking over at the chat here, Julia, intriguing AF. And Boland says, sounds rad, Jackie, and great title. And Karen, oh my, love the intrigue. I can't wait. And we've got some more, let's see. Very interesting take from the angel of a person with PD. Thank you, Karen. And my daughter Parker says you would do great as a Black Mirror writer. So lots of great stuff going on in the chat. For those of you watching at home, join in with the chat. So Jackie, this story is such a cool story. Like Billy was just saying, like that marrying the idea of ancient entity with modern social media is just such a cool concept. And it's really, really a neat story. And I can't wait for people to read it.
Me too. Yeah, I think I'm always fascinated about where we're headed with social media or artificial intelligence, just technology in general, and using that as a metaphor for our potential demise, honestly.
I love that stuff. So let's we're approaching almost 30 minutes. So let's jump back in and let's give it to them one more time, Jackie.
All right. Hi, I'm Jackie Perez. I am the writer of Nap, which is a short story about a sleep-deprived young woman chasing viral fame. And her waking nightmares bleed into her reality when an ancient entity latches onto her fragile mind, refusing to let her go.
Excellent. Thank you, Nap. Awesome. In Keys to the Kingdom. So, Jackie, you left. There you are. So where can people follow you online? And it's on the bottom of the screen.
I am on Twitter, X. Like I'm there. I'm on Instagram as well under Jackie Rage Perez, and that is also my website. I will say that I am trying. I want to be better about social media, but I am an older millennial. I literally had the flip phone until I was, 22 or so, and I was on deployment. So I chose the path of like, society will eventually like really want the person-to-person connection and not really latch on to all of this. And I feel like if I had started my YouTube channel back in 2008, I'd like right. Clips, would be I'd be funding the book, but yeah.
Don't worry, I'm right there with you. Older millennial.
So now I'm trying to get into. I'm like TikTok. I would like to get involved, but what I hear that YouTube is growing at it's going to double in size in the next 3 years. So in terms of like eyeballs, it's bigger than Netflix. It's bigger. Like I'm very interested in how streaming is shaking up Hollywood and traditional kind of like media consumption. And I'm not very like dialed in as a creator in it, but I think that there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, I watch YouTube a lot, like personally. I mean, if I'm like, I have only 30 minutes or something that I can watch something, I'll just pull up my phone or on my television and just watch YouTube. And usually I go for the dumbest things, just so everybody knows. I like to laugh at stuff, so I go for the dumb stuff. You can follow me on social medias at Paul Inman SC, and you can follow my boy Billy at Attaboy Billy with the dots there.
That's a great name.
Yeah, and
thank you. we laugh at it every time because it's like slightly embarrassing to go be in a professional meeting at some. They say, "Oh, can we reach out to you on Instagram?" And I'll say, "Yeah, it's at Attaboy Billy."
Attaboy Billy. And if you want to follow our Facebook page where all of this stuff will eventually land, facebook.com/Keys to the Kingdom 2025. Shout out to Stephen King Short Movies for making that and running it here and there. That's awesome. We appreciate you. And, I'm going to try this new feature real quick. Hold on a second. Let me see. Oh, wait, maybe I got to turn that thing off. Hang on a second.
Oh, I know what you're going to do.
Yeah, you can see the comments on the screen, maybe. Somebody write a comment, someone. And I think it should show up on the screen somewhere, potentially, maybe. I don't know. It's new. I don't know if it's going to work or not. But that's right. Hi, how you doing?
The potential for the jokes right now.
Oh, there it goes.
Hi.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I wonder
from YouTube and from Facebook. Cool.
Let me step back and see if it gets big.
Wow.
Oh no, that's pretty cool. So then all the comments could be up on there at any time. That's awesome. All right, so I'm going to turn that off now because we're wrapping things up. We appreciate everybody being here each week, and we appreciate you so much that next week we are having a special 1-hour live stream with some returning guests and potentially guests that haven't been here. But we're going to take an hour and just hang out with each other and you guys, and we're just going to talk about the book, talk about all of your experiences, talk about whatever you want to talk about in the chat, and we're just going to hang and have a good time and hopefully sell some books. And if I could just jump back over there somewhere, wherever it is, 12 days left. 12 days.
12 days.
So next week, by the time that we meet together next week, it'll be 5 days. So for our 1-hour special, it'll be 5 days. And I've lost Jackie. There you are. All right. Next week, join us. Oh, if you want to email us, dbanthology@gmail.com. I forget that. It's fine. And people are posting stuff. Thanks, Paul and Billy. Oh, wait, maybe I'll bring on the screen. Great stuff as always. Oh, I lost Jackie again. What in the world is going on? There you go. So for Billy and Jackie, my name is Paul Inman, and we will see you next Wednesday. Come hang out for our special live 1-hour special. See you soon.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.